We are joined right now by our sports director, Jeff Hathhorn. Jeff, how you doing today, buddy?
Good, guys. Busy day yesterday, eh?
Sure was. We'll start with Justin Fields, Jeff. Do you think it was more about money for Fields or a lack of trust in the Steelers? Do you think they would have been willing to go 2 years, $40 million, 30 guaranteed?
Yeah, we had kind of heard about the money that we saw come out, and that it was, he wanted 15. They were talking more about 12. Obviously, you saw what he ended up getting. I mean, good for the Jets. They went out and recruited him hard. It was like, recruiting a high school kid, especially in today's age. There was an offer, and then the offer got better, and you could tell one team wanted it a little bit more. And I look at it two ways with Justin. On the one hand, man, that's the one guy out there, 26-year-old you could build with. There were guys in the room that thought that he had ability to take his game to the next level. On the other hand, Justin, it's not like you got rid of Lamar Jackson. And there's still, there was no assurance that the Steelers would know how to use him the right way, that they would fully allow him to be Justin Fields. And you wonder in the back of his mind if that started to creep in of like, man, the Jets are going to put in an offense. It's going to be for me, whereas I'm going to have to go where the Steelers want me to go and fit into their system.
Well, Jeff, now the Steelers are in a very interesting spot. Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. What are you hearing? What are you feeling? What should they do? What direction should they go with those two veteran quarterbacks? It could get very interesting, clearly, if it's Aaron Rodgers, but bringing Russ back, I think that's still on the table.
Dude, what Florio's saying, 2 years, $90 million?
My God.
I mean, I can't fathom spending that much money on Aaron Rodgers. And if you do, you better win a Super Bowl.
Right.
Or heads should roll.
Jeff,
if you're going to spend $90 million on Aaron Rodgers over 2 years, like that, I know people lose their mind. I saw Pony tweet out about Daniel Jones. Like, if we're talking about spending 90, and maybe that impacts you being able to sign TJ or bring in other help, I'd rather live a year with Daniel Jones and build on some of my base and then go into 2026 looking for a quarterback.
I'm with you at that cost. Let's say it's not that. Let's say it's $25-30 million a year for 2 years, Jeff, for Rodgers. Is it more likely that it would crash and burn, or that they would actually improve over what they've done the last couple of years, in your mind?
Boys, for our industry, bring in Aaron.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
And listen, he had some game last year. I mean, he threw 28 touchdowns, nearly 4,000 yards. Had a 4-touchdown game his last game of the season. But into the theme of, I think, where they need to be, I just don't. And Aaron's not a guy where you're going to bring in a young guy and say, hey, Aaron, why don't you go put your arm around this guy and teach him the ropes of the NFL?
No.
Like, that's not the type of 41-year-old you're bringing in. Even at that money, even if it's half of what he's saying, I would rather use that money to build a base, even if that means punting on the season and looking a hell of a lot better in 2026.
What do you think Russ is asking for? What's the price around Russ?
Well, we had heard anywhere from 25 to 35 million. I'm assuming he's probably been humbled during this process a little to realize that that's not attainable money for him. But even at 25 million for Russ, again, I would go. I realize there's not a lot of options, and I don't want to reach for a quarterback in the first round. I'm looking for something to survive this year and put some, spend money on the defensive line, spend money on a few long-term contracts, and let's go forward again in 2026.
Steelers did make a couple of other moves yesterday that went under the radar, given gestures wildly, all the quarterback stuff. Darius Slay reportedly coming in. I haven't seen a contract figure on that.
Well, he has to be released, I think, by the Eagles tomorrow.
Right, and that's the same thing with Rodgers, too. Technically, he has to be released. So you're not going to see, I guess, financials on those things. Do we have any idea what it might be?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen different numbers. I would say probably 10, 12 a season. And I know you guys talked about it, and you were right on about it. I look at him as much as being a potential corner. That tells me that I think they believe in Corey Trice, and they've got a guy in there that can work with Trice, work with Porter. I was surprised that Dante went for as low as he did, if you will. But I'm glad they went in a different direction. I like Dante Jackson. I thought first 6 games, he was really good. He fit into the locker room. But I look at Slay as much as, yeah, he's 34, but yeah, he's going to be in there, and I think that says something about what they think about Corey Trice.
I was also shocked with Malik Harrison, the linebacker from the Ravens, them paying him more money than probably a Landon Roberts would cost. Landon Roberts ended up signing, I think, with Vegas for like $3 million. So I was shocked about that as well. Who are some names to keep a lookout for today, Jeff, that the Steelers might acquire?
Yeah, and just a quick aside about Landon. I mean, you're getting Harrison for 2 for $10, and Landon was just 3. He had a strong desire to stay here. The difference being with those guys is that Harrison's more of a special teams guy. Like, he's going to give you a lot more special team snaps than a Landon Roberts would have. So that's a part of this process as well. I mean, I'm looking for a swing tackle to be a part of this group. I'm also wondering if they're going to add a veteran defensive lineman. And obviously, I mean, we'll see a little bit more about Slay, but what kind of safety are they going to add? Or are they going to trust Beanie? I don't necessarily buy into them trusting Beanie for next year, so they're going to add somebody into that slot role, and I think they want to have that locked up. So, because remember, they don't have a second-round pick, and that's where some of this stuff, guys, we're talking about, like, well, you could still get a young quarterback. Well, you're probably either going to reach for one or in the first, or probably not have that guy in the third.
Jeff, it's a bad place to be. It's a bad place to be. And you think about the Rodgers thing, and you talk about swing tackles, a defensive lineman. Like, if they really are swimming in anywhere near the waters of $45 million a season for Aaron Rodgers, like, I feel like you can't do anything until you do figure out quarterback now.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't get that. And listen, we're talking about second-round pick, not having one. I love the Metcalf deal. Love it. You got a playmaker, and you haven't signed for 5 years. This is somebody you're going to have for a while. So I'm not whining about that, second-round pick from that standpoint. I just don't get the Fields thing. Like, why you wouldn't – what it came down to, I would assume, like I said, that maybe the Jets just convinced him, like, hey, we're going to put you in an offense where you're going to see what you can do. Why you wouldn't just go a few more dollars for a guy who was 26? It just I'm disappointed from a standpoint. Again, not that he's the end-all, be-all, but of the options that you had out there, he was the one young guy you could build with.
How about Kenny Pickett to the Browns, Jeff? Oh, shoot.
Think about this guy's journey over the last year. From the quarterbacks coming here, him asking for a trade, getting traded, and now I'm a backup, to being in Philadelphia, winning a Super Bowl. I mean, he was on with Bostic a couple of weeks ago, and, like, I'm excited about the year, put everything in. I'd love to be in Philly. And then you get sent to Cleveland, where I don't know is there a situation for him to compete to be a starter? Maybe. I mean, depending on, I don't know the severity of Deshaun's latest injury, but I really want to see the schedule come out.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that earlier.
Yes.
Steelers, Brands, week 1, Acrisure, give it to us.
Yes.
Please. Please.
Oh.
Because you'd have to think, like, even if they draft, like, Shedeur Sanders, you're probably not going to throw him to the Wolves, although, I mean,
who knows?
They don't know what the hell they're doing over there. That's exactly right. Jeff, this was fun. It always is. I can't believe you blew us off last week.
Hey, I'm a dick. What can I say?
LeBeau. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, buddy.
He's the best.
Wow. Wow. Didn't expect that. You can't even. Didn't expect that.
He's the one guy I never thought would say that. All right, very good.
Was good by you too.
We blew him off, and by we I mean me, because I got caught up in breaking news that wasn't really all that important, and I didn't look down at my sheet. Didn't remember what time it was. All my fault. I was the dick, Tarnstrom.